Vale,
Okay.
grabando.
So what was Pikpa before 2012?
Before 2012, Pikpa was an abandoned summer camp for children. During the crisis, it couldn't be used for local children have vacations here, so it was abandoned. They used this place in 2009 in no border camp when the Pagani was full and there was riots every day. They brought here 400 minors, so they tried to not to have so much reaction.
What was Pagani that you mentioned? Sorry.
Pagani was a huge, no, Pagani was a very big detention place in Lesvos with terrible conditions. For many years it was working without knowing what's happening there. Then some groups we started to try to understand what is going on because it was closed, nobody was entering, no NGO, and there was no complaint also. Everything was covered. And then they started to say there was a lot of media attraction to this. And 2009 we started a very big no border camp here, and there was a lot of protest against the camp, a lot of publicity, and it closed in 2009 in October.
So then it was used this place during the no border camp,
It
and
was
then again
used
at
for the minors, and for the first time during the protest we brought here. Sorry. Λιντά, εσύ μην μιλάτε δυνατά γιατί κάνουμε μια συνέντευξη, αν μπορείτε. Κάνουμε μια συνέντευξη, αν μπορείτε να μην φωνάζετε. Ευχαριστώ.
Don't worry for this, but this micro only is directional for you, okay? Don't worry.
So, yes, and also for me it's important because that's how we know about the place, because it was used in 2009 for minors, and also we brought here the first family that was in the info point of the no border camp, and we didn't want them to be detained because of the situation, although the police insisted to detain everyone. We said we are bringing them in Pikpa, register them and let them go, and it was the first time that they did this for a family. It was like symbolic action. So it is very important. In 2012, during the Greek financial crisis, local NGOs and independent volunteers, we formed a network for solidarity reasons. It was a network of very different people, very different groups, but the main issue was to fight against Golden Dawn race, because we knew that as long as we leave people in the streets, as long as the refugees stay in the street and local people are not protected by poverty, by isolation, this helps a lot the fascist party to raise their power. So we started this network for local people and for refugees. And the first moment we asked this place that was abandoned to be used as an open place for refugees, and open to the society. So the society have access to this, and the refugees are free. There was no Moria at that time. There was no Moria. So we didn't want the detention place to open. We wanted this kind of facilities for refugees. At the beginning there was a lot of reaction. Police and municipality, they didn't want to give this place for this purpose. It was only detention. The only attitude towards refugees, it was detention. There was nothing else. At the end they had a big problem because detention places of the police were full. It was for 25 people and they were putting there more than 100 people, and there was a lot of refugees in the streets. So they gave us the keys of the place and we started in November 2012.
Okay.
After that, there was thousands of people that passed by. It was people that were just arriving. There was people that they have problems. We had asylum seekers that stayed long term. And in 2015, during the big crisis, we couldn't have many people because there were thousands arriving. So we focused on vulnerable cases. We focused on handicapped people, sick people, pregnant women, people, refugees that were coming out of the hospital, psychiatric problems, and many victims of tragedies in the sea. Many people that lost their relatives in the sea, they came here. And that was the hardest part of our work. I think that this we don't want to experience again. I mean, we had many times worked with and supported people that they lost their relatives in the sea, but having here 15 families, 20 families, and all with serious losses, not one person. Sometimes it was 2-3 children, the father, the mother. It was.
So you needed to organize differently when the big wave of people came at 2015? Or?
Yes, we needed to organize differently because there was we were always used to work in emergency, but now the emergency was in a very high level. What we did was mainly, okay, we did all what we did before, distributing clothes, food, cooking for many people. Now, last summer we were cooking for 1,000 people, 1,500, 2,000. It was a different level of action, and it needed a lot of mobilization of volunteers. We had many more volunteers. We never had so many people. I think something that was very different is that for the first time, before we were feeling a bit isolated, a few people trying to keep the place open, trying to support the refugees. Last summer, there were starting coming people from all over Europe. There were many volunteers. It was more a question of working together and having also for us to be more open and to cooperate with people, and for the people coming here to find their way, because it's not easy. It's a little bit. It's self-organized, we say, but also it's a bit chaotic. It's too many things, too many people, too different things. So you need to be motivated and committed to work in this way, to find your way, to find a way and to work here and to cooperate with other people, a lot of different people. One thing was that. Another thing is the political, that we never, it was the first thing that we wanted to do. For example, last summer for me the most important thing we did in September and August is to be in Moria, not only giving clothes, blankets, food, but to be there at night when the riot police was there, the tear gases was every night. So there were people confronting the refugees were not alone. There were people talking in front of the police. They see that there are other people that are interested, and the refugees are not alone, and they are denouncing what is happening. So I believe that this was very important. Because all people are interested in medicines, food, clothes, but there are other needs of the refugees, and there is a very big political side of this action that is more important than just giving. What else was different? There were many NGOs. We had to find a way to cooperate or not cooperate, because there are many different. For me, it was very important, the network between us, between the groups that they were similar. They could find a way, and we did the common actions. And before the deal and after the deal, there were some demonstrations that they were very important, and we cooperated a lot, and we worked together.
The recent deal, you are referring to the recent deal. Okay.
What else was really different? Many things that for me were really similar. I mean, we were confronting the same situation in different numbers, different level. But the problems were with the authorities, the maltreatment of the refugees, the chaotic situation was the same always for years.
And any more comments in the level of how you experienced it personally, like how did you live in
For
this?
me, look, I was already very tired all these years because I'm involved in the camp more than 3 years from the beginning, 3.5 years. And already it was very hard to keep it going. It was very encouraging to see that more people were involved. It's what we wanted to happen. On the other hand, it was difficult to understand who is doing what. It was very complicated. And we thought, okay, some people they do a lot of humanitarian work, they don't do nothing else, so they come here. We felt kind of colonialism, like all the NGOs, big money coming, hotels, all hotels were booked. It was a strange feeling for us, very different. On the other hand, in one point in September, there were so many people in town, 25,000 people in the streets. The locals started to react very negatively. We had a racist attitude